All right. Hello there. I'm delighted to talk to you about my paper, Finance Research, What are the New Frontiers? And in this paper, the goal really is to identify important research questions for future research. I begin the paper by noting the remarkable achievements in finance research over the past 6 decades or so, because these research contributions have provided a really firm foundation of first principles upon which to build this edifice of future finance research. So just a very quick summary. The Markowitz risk-return trade-off and efficiency frontier, Modigliani-Miller indifference theorems, market efficiency, the capital asset pricing model, the Black-Scholes-Merton option pricing model, market microstructure theories, theories of why banks exist, financial crises, microprudential regulation to deal with them, and banking stability, theories and empirical tests of agency costs and information frictions, and then theories of debt overhang and the impact this has on investment policy. So this is maybe not even a complete list, but it's a remarkable list of research achievements over the past few decades. And this leads naturally to what are the exciting new research possibilities for the future. And here I identify 3 areas in which I think really important and exciting new research questions can be asked. Obviously, these 3 reflect a matter of personal choice and are not meant to be an exhaustive list. I'm sure I've left out a lot of other important areas. But let me focus on the 3 that I discuss in the paper. The first is banking stability. Now, this is a topic that's been extensively studied in research. What are the sources of shocks that undermine banking stability and lead to financial crises? But my focus really in this discussion is on what I call non-traditional sources of shocks that we have not studied quite as extensively in research. So I include here fintech, shadow banking, cryptocurrencies and their spillovers into banking, government fiscal policy, geopolitical headwinds, climate change and the regulatory responses to climate change. And that's not even a complete list, but these are what I call non-traditional sources of shocks that could undermine financial stability. And so the research question is, well, how would they undermine financial stability? And how should microprudential regulation respond to these potential sources of banking instability? The second topic that I discuss in my paper is the intersection of medicine, healthcare, and finance. Now, aggregate healthcare spending in the US is expected to reach $6.3 trillion by 2028. Now, a lot of this research for the R&D that's required to come up with new cures and therapies is funded by the government through agencies like the NSF and the NIH, but government support of R&D funding for biomedical research is expected to continue to decline as a percentage of total spending. And so the rest has to be made up for by the private sector. And here there is a big impediment in that there is something called the R&D funding gap, which means that the amount of investment that the private sector has been willing to make in these biomedical R&D projects is less than the demand for funds to invest in R&D. And it's due to a variety of informational frictions and the fact that these projects are very large and very risky. So the research questions here are, how will financial innovation help to close the R&D funding gap and channel more investment funds into biomedical research and development? And what role will financial institutions like banks play in helping to close the R&D funding gap? And I think these are really important questions for future research to tackle, because they not only have research value, but they have enormous social welfare implications and societal value. The third topic that I think is very exciting for future research is organizational higher purpose. And I define organizational higher purpose as a contribution goal that an organization has that transcends the usual business goals, but decisions are made at the intersection of those business goals and higher purpose goals. Now, most of the research that's been done in this area is not in finance. It's in management, organization behavior, and economics. But I think finance needs to tackle this head on. And what the early research in the other areas has found is that when an organization adopts an authentic higher purpose, it actually experiences a reduction in agency costs and contracting frictions, and this leads to improved outcomes, business outcomes. But the big research question here is, how does the introduction of higher purpose into the firm's objective function dilute the pristine objective of maximizing shareholder value that has guided the finance paradigm for many decades? And would this introduce some new agency problems that we would need to study and research? And how would we cope with these potential agency problems? So I think these are all big, important research questions for future research. And I'm really, really excited about the potential that these questions hold for exciting new insights that will emerge through future research. And I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you for your attention.